this afternoon's webinar, we will be talking about success. Okay, how can we become successful in all our endeavors despite of the uncertainties that we are facing right now? Okay, so let's begin our discussion by defining success. Okay, so for different individuals, we also have different perspective when we talk about success. Okay, for some, success means to become a billionaire. So others would say that success is equivalent to academic achievements, have a lot of awards, medals, trophies, and etc. And for some, success is finding happiness and state of wellness in life. In all this perspective, where are we? How do we perceive success? So as we go along with our discussion this afternoon, we will help you visualize the meaning of success and how you can achieve it, especially this time of uncertainties. Let me begin by defining the characteristics and habits of successful people. Okay, first habit and characteristic of a successful person has a positive mental attitude. So when you say positive mental attitude, successful people tend to have positive outlook in life, which includes becoming resilient and having growth mindset in facing and surpassing failures and distractions towards success. So being successful doesn't mean or doesn't happen overnight. Malamang maaaring narinig nyo na yan maraming beses, ang pagiging successful ay hindi basta isang tulog lang nangyayari. So you have read and heard about stories of successful people already. Yung mga mahilig mag-search ng motivational movies or film through YouTube or even our social media, most of them have the same stories. If not all, they have experienced failures, neglects before they become successful in life. So we have one characteristics, which is positive mental attitude. Next is goal-directed behavior. So when you say goal-directed behavior, successful people starts their journey with a goal. Again, success doesn't happen overnight. Successful people become more driven to achieve success if they have set their goals and track their progress from time to time until they reach their goal. Another characteristics of a successful person is having self-motivation. So when you say self-motivation, despite having setbacks, discouragements, failures, and uncertainties like this pandemic that we are facing currently, motivation starts within us. Motivation starts within you. So if you can motivate yourself in surpassing these challenges, then you are on your way to becoming successful. As I remember a note from my grade 3 teacher, every time she announces the honor students in the class, she would always say, do not compete with others, just compete with yourself. So meaning, successful people take their own obstacles and journey to help himself become the better version of himself. So hindi ibig sabihin na yung kaklase mo or yung iyong friends already achieve a lot academically and then ikaw ay you are still striving to reach that goal doesn't mean that you will have or you will not be motivated to pursue your own goal. Okay? Always think that you can be a better person. Okay? Next, another characteristic of a successful person is having the sense of urgency. Sabi nila, why do tomorrow if you can do today? So bakit papalipasin pa yung isang buong maghapon if you can finish naman the things that you can do for the day, right? So sabi nga, no to procrastination, lalo na ngayon kapag naharap sa social media, kunwari, ay may tatapusing activity, maya-maya naka-open na yung tab for other social media. So as much as possible, no to procrastination. Another characteristic of a successful person is never stop learning. They never stop learning. Whatever field you are into, there always be a room for improvement through non-stop learning and become knowledgeable enough towards your chosen field. So we have identified 5 characteristics and habits of a successful person. So again, we have positive mental attitude, self-motivation, goal-directed behavior, sense of urgency, and never stop learning. Now, maybe some of you watching right now will ask, how can we become successful? Ganito nga po yung sitwasyon natin. How can we become successful in this time of uncertainty? So we have prepared some tips that you might consider to become a successful person despite of our problems and obstacles that we are facing right now. So first is to set smarter goal. Ma'am, di ba smart lang? Bakit naging smarter? Okay. So before we consider ourselves to become successful, the first thing that we have to do is to set goal. The smarter goal. So let's take it one by one. Maybe it's already familiar to you, but let's take a review on the smarter goal. Ano ba talaga ang matutulong ng having a smarter goal to become a successful person? First is, S is for what? Specific. So be more concise in setting your goal. Make it clearer for you to visualize it every day. So make sure when you set your goal, it answers the 5 W questions. What, when, where, and so on, di ba? Even it's long-term or short-term goals, di ba? When you say long-term, it talks about 5-year, 10-year plan. And then when you talk about short-term goals, it talks about your day-to-day goals or targets to finish, right? So for example, if you are not being specific, maaari sabihin na, I want to earn money someday. Very broad, diba? Paano ka makakakuha ng pera? Or how can you earn or how can you have that goal kung hindi ka ganun ka-specific in setting your goal, right? Next, after specific, we have measurable. When you say measurable, paano po ba yon? So know when to consider that you have reached your goal. It is very important na alam natin na yes, I have reached my goal. From time to time, you have to acknowledge or you have to recognize that you have done something na one step forward towards achieving your goal. Mahirap naman na we will not look into those little accomplishments that we have na somehow will help us be more motivated to pursue our long-term goals. Okay? Next, A is for achievable. So you must develop the right attitude, abilities, and skills towards achieving your goal. Always consider your skills and talents na kaya mong gawin towards your goal, di ba? Or even with your environment. Dapat accessible siya, hindi kailangan, lalo na sa ating time ngayon, do not make or set goals na kailangang lumabas pa ng bahay, di ba? Because we all know na hindi naman siya kayang i-achieve pa ng lahat sa ngayon, right? And then another one is becoming realistic. So R for realistic, please be good to yourself when you are setting goals. Do not set goals that you believe you are not capable of doing so. So set goals na alam natin na kaya nating gawin at the end of the day. Malimit we always tell our students, when you set goals, always, hindi masamang maging idealistic, but please, mangibabaw yung being realistic. Because at the end of the day, kapag hindi tayo naging realistic when we set our goals, makakadagdag siya ng tension, ng stress and frustration dahil hindi tayo naging realistic when we set our goals. Okay? And then, letter T is for time bound. When you say time bound, you have to set deadlines. So not just talking to the students, not just your teacher's deadlines, but deadline for yourself for you to be motivated enough to reach your goal within your time frame. Malimit po kasi kung ano yung deadline na binigay ni teacher, ni ma'am, or ni sir, nagla-last minute tayo, right? So as much as possible, hindi masama that if it is possible to set your own deadlines day before the set deadlines of your teachers rather, ay much better for you to do the task better, hindi masasacrifice yung magiging output ng inyong gagawin. Okay? And next, ano po yung E? Kasi we have the smarter goal. So for letter E, you have to do it enthusiastically. Okay? So approach your goals and results with as much positive energy as possible. So 'di ba? Mahalaga that we are as we achieve our goals in life, dapat good vibes. Okay? The positive energy must always be there despite all the challenges that we are facing. And lastly po is the reward. So what does it mean when you say reward? Sa lahat po ba ng pagkakataon, dapat i-reward ko yung self ko? So learn to reward yourself even in a little achievement that you have done that is possible to do even at home. So ibig sabihin po, if you set a goal, like for example, in one day, sa oras na ito, or like 8 to 10, I have to finish my assignments in Intro to Psych for the Psych students. Or 11 to 12, I will be doing my homework for one subject and so on. After that, if I have accomplished 3 of those assignments, for example, and then I will give a reward to myself like eating my favorite food or watch Netflix and go hanging with your friends, then dapat nasa loob lang ng bahay, right? But as much as possible, learn to balance it. Huwag namang spoil din yung self natin, right? So, make sure na sabi nga nila, it's balance with what you have achieve and the reward that you are giving to yourself. Baka naman, the whole day ay nakalimutan natin, I want to reward myself, natulog na buong maghapon, and then meron pa palang ibang kailangang tapusin. Okay? So that is for number 1, setting the smarter goal. Next, okay, another tip that we would like to share with you is having resilience. Okay? As a modern definition of resilience, it talks about advancing despite adversity. So when you say advancing, ayan. So when you say advancing, being goal-oriented and work towards your vision. Ibig sabihin, having a lot of obstacles and hindrances in achieving our goals, you are still focused on your goal. You are being focus on how you are going to reach your vision or your goals in life. When you say despite, being proactive rather than reactive. Yung iba madalas hindi maiiwasan, bakit kasi kailangan ganito? Hindi ko tuloy nagawa yung ganito or ganyan. So as much as possible, we have always to look on the brighter side of everything that happens, right? And then when you talk about adversity, it talks about uncertainties, challenges, and difficulties. Despite all these difficulties that we are having, always remember to keep going. Okay? So that is resilience. Next, another tip that we have is acknowledging your strength. So when you say acknowledging your strength, although we have shared a little na kanina sa smarter goals, when you say acknowledging strengths, all those uncertainties that we are experiencing right now, try to have some time to assess and ask yourself, what are the things that you can do even you are at home. So what are the things that you can engage in and still become productive, 'di ba? Learn new talents, hobbies and skills that might also help you visualize your future goal. Okay? Being aware of your strengths, 'di ba, can also give you enough confidence to pursue your goals in life. Okay? Another thing, so, nandun na tayo sa pang-apat, never stop learning. So, we have already shared as one characteristic of a successful person is never or they never stop learning. So, despite this pandemic, we salute all our students that you still strive to continue your studies, having a lot of adjustments from face-to-face to online learning. Even our teachers who sacrifice a lot to learn and be knowledgeable enough on this new normal setup. We salute you po. So learning has no limit. Whether we talk about the status, age, and the platform, especially for those people who strive hard to reach their goals in life. Okay? And then, for number 5, of course, very important is the self-discipline. Okay. Nowadays, learning and working online is a big challenge for everyone. Bakit po? Because we all know that through online platform, there will always be distractions and you can lose your focus on the things that you have to finish. So in other words, self-discipline is the key. As a student, we have to be responsible in learning online. If we have set our goal in a week, a day, or an hour, make sure that you have done at least 85 to 100% of it before you engage into social media, online gaming, and the like. So now that almost everything is done online, we have to be more responsible enough in using it for us to be more productive in reaching our goal. Another thing that we can consider to help us achieve our goal despite of these uncertainties is delayed gratification. What do you mean by delayed gratification? So studies show that delayed gratification is one of the most effective personal traits of a successful person. People who learn how to manage their need to be satisfied in the moment thrive more in their careers, relationships, health, and finances than people who give in to it. Choosing to have something now might feel good, but making the effort to have discipline and manage your impulses can result in bigger or better rewards in the future. With our example, diba? One girl would like to go out with her friends, to hang out with her friends. But because of delayed gratification, the other girl instead said, I'd spend my time reading books and working on my module. Sabi nga, sana all. 'Di ba? Pero it's a big step if we learn to say no. Okay? So when you talk about delaying gratification, it is also about saying no. Make sure that you have somehow work onto your goal before spending your time to other things that you have to or you need to do. So thoughts? Okay. So that is for delayed gratification. Last, okay, malapit na tayo mga tapos. Mga ilang slides na lang. Okay? So believe. Last is believe. So you have always heard the saying, believe yourself or believe in yourself. In this time of pandemic, your number one supporter must be yourself. Once you are confident enough with your own abilities and skills, people around you will also believe in you. Marami pong pangarap na nabago o naantala dahil sa pandemya. Always remember, God has a perfect time for everything. Lahat ng nabanggit namin na tips ay baliwala kung wala ang tulong at gabay ng ating Ama. So above all, believe and have faith on what God has planned for us. So I hope those tips and short sharing somehow will help us to get up and still strive for our goal and become a successful person. So just to end our sharing this afternoon, I just want to leave this note to you. Successful people do not or do what unsuccessful people are not willing to do. So don't wish it was easier. Instead, believe that you can do better. Thank you, and I hope you have learned something from our webinar this afternoon. Stay safe and enjoy the NEU Normal.
Ma'am, paano po maiwasan ang procrastination? Any tips po, sabi po nila.
Mm-hmm. Okay, siguro lahat, even us working, we experience procrastination talaga. Pero as much as possible, if you have the self-discipline and determination to achieve, sabi nga, you have to set your goals na alam mo, kaya mo siyang gawin para hindi maiwasan yung procrastination. Ay, okay lang, ayoko nang gawin yun kasi ano naman yung iba, ito rin naman ang ginagawa and something like that. So you have to be more realistic na pag may gusto kang gawin, always remember or always consider that you have to do or you want to do that and you can do that. 'Di ba? And then, yun, susunod na yun, you have to disregard procrastination na.
How should we deal with our anxiety while doing a lot of school works po?
Okay. Ang having anxiety, sabi nga kasi, medyo bumibigat yung school works that we have lalo na ngayon that we are online. So maybe because of a lot of modules and activities that we have to finish or accomplish in a certain week, diba? So we have weekly activities. First thing is to have your daily routine organized. Okay? As much as possible, we all have, sabi nga, we can utilize the calendar that we have in the VLE, or you can have your own calendar, sabi DIY calendar, to be more organized with the things that you have to finish, with the things that you have to accomplish within the day and within the week to avoid anxieties and stress dahil hindi agad natatapos yung certain activities or certain requirement. And also, another thing that I can say, if talagang hindi kaya to read, hindi kaya to answer at certain moment, give yourself time to rest. Pero sabi ko nga, balance. Kaya nga, it's part of the reward na tinutukoy namin kanina, pero balance din. Huwag naman ubusin, okay lang, ayoko na, pagod na talaga ako, hindi ko na yun matatapos. Give yourself time to relax, give yourself time to rest, and then afterwards, sabi nga, mag-charge ka muna. And then, afterwards, balikan yung na-organize, yung na-calendar ninyo na activities to accomplish, set your priorities, okay? You always consider ano ba talaga yung dapat unahin, ano ba talaga yung mga kailangan i-accomplish na within the day, and yun, as follow kung ano yung naset ninyo na mga things that you have to finish accordingly para ma-avoid yung magiging, at the end of the day, na-stress ka dahil hindi mo siya na-accomplish. So, balikan natin yung smarter goals.
How can you believe and motivate yourself when yourself have doubt in yourself?
Okay, so having self-motivation, na ikaw mismo sa sarili mo, you are doubting about your abilities and your skills. So as I mentioned kanina, give yourself time to acknowledge your, shall I say, little achievements. Like for example, we are now, most of us now, ang kaharap natin ngayon are college students. You have already done this far. Natapos natin yung elementary, natapos natin yung high school level, ibig sabihin, you have done a lot already. So try to assess nagawa ko nga siya before, ngayon pa ba? 'Di ba? So, as part of that, hindi naman sa ipagyayabang mo siya, but for yourself to be more confident that somehow you have already done something that help you to be one step nearer to your dreams, which is ngayon, nasa college level ka na. Or kung meron man tayong or mga nakikinig na yan, yan nasa high school or elementary, whatever level you are in, you have already done something. Acknowledge your little achievements para mas makatulong siya to motivate yourself in times na parang nagkakaroon tayo ng self-doubt, nagkakaroon tayo ng parang confusion, kaya ko ba talaga to, and so on. So as much as possible, try to recognize little achievements that we have. Afterwards, sabi nga, do not compete with others, but compete with yourself. So at the end of the day, always think that you can do better.
Bye
Wow.
po. Thank you po.
Po.